3. When if.
으면, 는다면 소스, howtostudykorean.com.
Below is a list of vocabularies to be used in this lesson. Nouns.
장거리.
Long distance.
콜라 칼러 과학자 사이언티스트 신호 시그널 날개 윙 가지 에그플런트 고추.
Hot pepper.
신부 브라이드 신랑 그룹 교훈.
Morale, leçon.
버릇 헤빗 햇살.
The rays of the sun.
빨래 론드리 이슬 두 비바람 레인스톰 습도 휴미더티 버브즈. 기초하다.
To be based on.
보존하다.
To preserve. To conserve.
기도하다.
To pray.
대접하다.
To serve. To treat.
진정하다.
To calm down. Adjectives.
부자연스럽다.
To be unnatural.
균등하다.
To be even.
어색하다.
To be awkward.
낯설다.
To be unfamiliar.
수상하다.
To be suspicious. Adverbs and other words.
만약.
Put in sentences with if.
양쪽.
Both directions. Introduction. In the previous lesson, you learned how to add
을 때.
to words to have the meaning of when. In this lesson, you will learn about adding
으면.
to words to have a similar meaning. Let's get started. When if.
으면.
To create the meaning of when or if, you can add
으면 to.
the stem of a verb or adjective. If we look at the meaning of
으면.
more deeply, it can be separated into three main usages. Usage 1 to indicate that one action occurs when if another action, that hasn't happened yet, occurs. For example,
집에 도착하면 빨래를 할 거예요.
when I arrive at home, I will do laundry. Notice in this usage that the action in the second clause is a supposition assumption of what would happen when the first clause occurs. Both actions haven't happened yet and the speaker is merely assuming what will take place. Keep this in mind for later because it will come up again. Here the event of arriving at home hasn't happened yet. Therefore, the speaker is indicating that she will do laundry when this event occurs. In this example, the event of arriving at home seems inevitable and certain, because it is certain that this action will occur. The translation of when is often used if there is uncertainty in whether the first event occurs or not. The translation of if is often used to express this uncertainty. Notice what happens if you use if in the sentence above. If I arrive at home, I will do laundry. In most situations, I can't imagine this being a natural sentence. Of course you are eventually going to arrive at home sometime, so the event isn't really uncertain. Therefore, the translation of it is a little bit unnatural. However, if you changed the sentence a little and added a condition that would make the event uncertain, the translation of if would be more appropriate. For example,
집에 일찍 도착하면 빨래를 할 거예요.
if I arrive home early, I will do laundry. Either way, I don't want you to get hung up on the English translation of a sentence. I would rather you understand the meaning of the Korean sentence than to worry about whether when or if is more appropriate. Oftentimes it isn't even clear if the sentence is uncertain or not. For example,
학교에 가면 알려주세요.
when if you go to school, let me know. Depending on the situation and context, when you go to school, let me know, or if you go to school, let me know could both be appropriate. In these cases, you need to use the context to distinguish specifically what meaning is being implied. Below are many examples showing this usage.
신호를 보면 저에게 말을 바로 해주세요.
When if you see the signal, let me know immediately please.
과학자가 되면 피부의 습도에 영향을 연구하고 싶어요.
When if I become a scientist, I want to study the effects of humidity on the skin.
내일 비바람이 오면 경기가 취소될 거예요.
If it rains tomorrow, the match game will be cancelled.
지금 환경을 보존하지 않으면 미래에 더 큰 문제가 생길 것 같아요.
If we don't preserve the environment, there will probably be bigger problems in the future.
오늘 그 사람을 만나면 낯선 사람으로 대할 거예요.
If I meet that person today, I'm going to treat him like a stranger.
손님이 오면 맛있는 음식을 대접할 거예요.
When the guests come, I will treat them with delicious food.
진정하지 않으면 콜라를 주지 않을 거예요.
If you don't calm down, I won't give you a cola.
내일 아침에 이슬이 있으면 고추가 다 죽어버릴 거예요.
If there is dew tomorrow morning, all of the hot pepper plants will die.
내일 분위기가 어색하면 이 게임을 한번 해보세요.
If the atmosphere is awkward tomorrow, try playing this game.
신랑이 신부를 보면 그녀가 얼마나 예쁜지 깨달을 거예요.
The groom will realize how pretty the bride is when he sees her, comma. In all of the examples so far, the second clause is an assumption of what will happen if when some action occurs. It is also possible to conjugate the clause attached to the past tense to assume suppose what would have happened if something had occurred. In order to do this,
악업,
is added to the stem of the word followed by. For example,
내가 공부했으면,
if I studied,
내가 먹었으면,
if I ate,
내가 갔으면.
if I went. Much like the present tense, the action in the second clause is a supposition assumption of what would have happened if the first clause had occurred. Usually when the verb adjective after if is conjugated to the past tense, the later clause ends in would have. For example, if I studied, I would have passed the test. If I ate, I would have not been hungry. If I met my friend, it would have been fun. Expressing this meaning of would have in Korean is done by adding
악업을 것이다.
to the final word of the sentence. For example,
내가 공부했으면 시험을 합격했을 것이다.
if I studied, I would have passed the test.
내가 밥을 먹었으면 배고프지 않았을 것이다.
If I ate, I wouldn't have been hungry.
친구를 만났으면 재미있었을 것이다.
If I met my friend, it would have been fun. Notice that the translation of if is more appropriate when using
으면,
in the past tense. The use of when makes it seem like the action actually did happen, when actually it did not. Many more examples.
돈을 다 쓰지 않았으면 그것을 샀을 거예요.
If I hadn't spent all of my money, I would have bought that.
내가 사과를 다 안 먹었으면 너에게 한 개를 줬을 거야.
If I hadn't eaten all of my apples, I would have given you one.
햇살이 그렇게 강하지 않았으면 밖에 나갔을 거예요.
If the sunlight wasn't so strong, I would have gone outside.
음식이 충분했으면 사람들에게 균등하게 줬을 거예요.
If there was enough, I would have given the food out to people evenly.
그 남자가 너무 수상하지 않았으면 그를 믿었을 거예요.
If that man wasn't so suspicious, I would have believed him.
고추를 안 넣었으면 맵지 않았을 거예요.
If you didn't put the hot pepper in it, it wouldn't have been spicy. Using
으면,
in the past tense is a common way that you hope or wish for something. Explaining this is beyond the scope of this lesson, but you will continue to learn about this usage in lesson 61, comma. In all of the examples above, in both the present and past tenses, the second clause is an assumption of what will happen or would have happened. When indicating an assumption like this, it is also possible to conjugate the verb prior to.
면,
First, the words need to be conjugated using the plain diary form before.
면,
Can be added on. Make sure you remember your plain diary form conjugations, introduced in lesson 5. For example, for verbs in the present tense.
가다, 간다면 먹다, 먹는다면.
For adjectives in the present tense.
행복하다, 행복하다면 길다, 길다면.
For verbs in the past tense.
가다, 갔다면 먹다, 먹었다면.
For adjectives in the past tense.
행복하다, 행복했다면 길다, 길었다면.
For
이다,
an.
아니다 이다, 이라면.
Present tense.
이다, 이었다면.
Past tense.
아니라면.
Present tense.
아니었다면.
Past tense. I usually refer to this addition as
는다면.
because it shows that the word before
면,
must be conjugated. All of the examples shown to this point could also be expressed using
는다면.
when used like this. There is a little bit more of an emphasis of the fact that the action is a supposition assumption than when
으면.
is used. Therefore, the translation of if is more commonly used with.
는다면.
Nonetheless, all of the examples below have the same meaning as their earlier counterparts, just that there is more of an emphasis that the clause before
는다면.
might or might not happen.
집에 도착한다면 빨래를 할 거예요. 집에 일찍 도착한다면 빨래를 할 거예요. 학교에 간다면 알려주세요. 신호를 본다면 저에게 말을 바로 해주세요. 과학자가 된다면 피부의 습도의 영향을 연구하고 싶어요. 내일 비바람이 온다면 경기가 취소될 거예요. 지금 환경을 보존하지 않는다면 미래에 더 큰 문제가 생길 것 같아요. 오늘 그 사람을 만난다면 낯선 사람으로 대할 거예요. 손님이 온다면 맛있는 음식을 대접할 거예요. 진정하지 않는다면 콜라를 주지 않을 거예요. 내일 아침에 이슬이 있는다면 고추가 다 죽어버릴 거예요. 내일 분위기가 어색하다면 이 게임을 한번 해보세요. 신랑이 신부를 본다면 그녀가 얼마나 예쁜지 깨달을 거예요. 내가 공부했다면 시험을 합격했을 것이다. 내가 밥을 먹었다면 배고프지 않았을 것이다. 친구를 만났다면 재미있었을 것이다. 돈을 다 쓰지 않았다면 그것을 샀을 거예요. 내가 사과를 다 안 먹었다면 너에게 한 개를 줬을 거야. 햇살이 그렇게 강하지 않았다면 밖에 나갔을 거예요. 음식이 충분했다면 사람들에게 균등하게 줬을 거예요. 그 남자가 너무 수상하지 않았다면 그를 믿었을 거예요. 고추를 안 넣었다면 맵지 않았을 거예요.
It is also possible to attach
어떠라면
to the tenses above in the past tense. For example,
내가 공부했더라면 시험을 합격했을 것이다. 내가 밥을 먹었더라면 배고프지 않았을 것이다. 친구를 만났더라면 재미있었을 것이다. 돈을 다 쓰지 않았더라면 그것을 샀을 거예요. 내가 사과를 다 안 먹었더라면 너에게 한 개를 줬을 거야. 햇살이 그렇게 강하지 않았더라면 밖에 나갔을 거예요. 음식이 충분했더라면 사람들에게 균등하게 줬을 거예요. 그 남자가 너무 수상하지 않았더라면 그를 믿었을 거예요. 고추를 안 넣었더라면 맵지 않았을 거예요.
you can think of
어떠라면
as one unit, but it might be helpful for you to see the purpose of adding
더,
two other constructions. I discuss some of the usages of
더,
in lessons 117, 118 and 119, comma. It is common to end these assumption sentences with
을 텐데.
which I discuss in lesson 100. I know it is tempting, but I actually hope you didn't look ahead to those future lessons. We still have more to discuss in this lesson. Let's move on and talk about another usage of
면, 유지지.
to generally indicate that when one action occurs, another action occurs. In this usage, the first clause indicates the requirement basis that is needed to make the event in the second clause occur. This cause and effect between the first and second clause is typically common knowledge that usually a fact anybody would know. For example,
비가 오면 날씨가 추워져요.
when if it rains, the weather gets colder. Notice in this usage that the events being described are not assumptions but are general facts, as these sentences are describing a general cause and effect, and not some event that happened in the past or will happen in the future. The final clause is typically conjugated in the present tense. Again, not that I want you to focus on the English translations, but notice that the usage of when or if is arbitrary. Both words are appropriate for this situation. Below are many more examples.
잠을 못 자면 다음 날에 몸이 피곤해져요.
When if you don't sleep well, the next day you will be tired.
장거리 운전을 하면 엉덩이가 아파요.
When if you drive long distances, your bum will be sore.
콜라를 매일 마시면 건강이 나빠져요.
When if you drink cola every day, your health deteriorates drops.
누구나 캐나다에 가면 좋아해요.
When if anybody goes to Canada, they like it.
누구나 자기 전 여자친구를 만나면 분위기가 어색해요.
When if anybody meets their ex-girlfriend, the atmosphere is awkward.
오후가 되면 햇살이 강해져요.
When if it becomes afternoon, the sun gets stronger.
날개가 위로 움직이면 비행기가 떨어져요.
When if the wings go up, the plane falls downwards.
학생들이 균등한 기회를 받으면 미래가 밝아져요.
When if students receive an equal opportunity, the future becomes brighter. Let's move on and talk about another usage of
면, 유지지 3.
to indicate that an action occurs whenever another action is repeated. In this usage, every time the first clause occurs, the second clause occurs. For this usage to work, the actions need to be things that are repeated frequently. For example,
피자를 먹으면 저는 콜라를 마셔요.
when if I eat pizza, I usually drink cola. Notice in this usage that the events being described are not assumptions but are general facts, again, as with the previous usage of.
으면,
These sentences are not describing some event that happened in the past or will happen in the future. Rather, the actions are events that are repeated frequently. Therefore, the final clause of these sentences is typically conjugated in the present tense. The typical translation for this usage is whenever. This usage of
으면,
is almost identical to adding
마다,
to,
때,
which you learned about in the previous lesson. In any language, there are often many ways to say the same thing. For example, whenever and every time can both be used to have the same meaning. For example,
피자를 먹으면 저는 콜라를 마셔요.
whenever I eat pizza, I usually drink cola.
피자를 먹으면 저는 콜라를 마셔요.
Every time I eat pizza, I usually drink cola. Below are many more examples of this usage.
그 연예인이 방에 들어가면 양쪽에서 사람들이 그에게 다가가요.
Whenever that celebrity goes into a room, people approach him from both all directions.
아버지가 운전하면 습관으로 담배를 피워요.
Whenever my dad drives, he smokes cigarettes out of habit.
제가 경기를 보면 우리 팀이 이기기를 기도해요.
Whenever I watch a game, I pray for my team to win.
일요일이면 그 가족이 기도하러 교회에 가요.
Whenever it is Sunday, that family goes to church to pray.
내가 공부를 하면 엄마는 TV를 끈다.
Whenever I study, my mother turns off the TV.
내가 TV를 보면 엄마는 싫어한다.
Whenever I watch TV, my mother doesn't like it.
내가 행복하면 숙제를 잘 해.
Whenever I am happy, I do my homework well. Full stop. Full stop.
만약,
There are a handful of Korean adverbs that have no real translation to English because they don't really have any meaning. These words are often used in sentences for feeling and to help the listener expect what the speaker will say. Probably the most common of all of these words is
만약,
is used in sentences when the result of a sentence can't be certain, due to the nature of sentences where the second clause is a supposition or assumption. It is common to see
만약,
used in sentences that follows the first usage of
으면,
described in this lesson. For example,
만약 내가 공부했으면 시험을 합격했을 것이다.
if I studied, I would have passed the test.
만약 내가 밥을 먹었으면 배고프지 않았을 것이다.
If I ate, I wouldn't have been hungry.
만약 내일 비바람이 오면 경기가 취소될 거예요.
If it rains tomorrow, the match game will be cancelled.
만약 지금 환경을 보존하지 않으면 미래에 더 큰 문제가 생길 것 같아요.
If we don't preserve the environment now, there will probably be bigger problems in the future.
그러면 그렇다면,
In lesson 23, you learned that the meaning of the word
그렇다,
is close to the meaning of like that, by adding
으면,
to.
그렇다,
You can create
그러면,
by adding
는다면,
to.
그렇다,
You can create.
그렇다면,
Remember that
그렇다,
is an adjective and therefore
그렇는다면,
would be incorrect. When some situation is being talked about, you can use
그러면 그렇다면,
to say if that situation. The common translation of these two is simply if so. For example, person 1.
내일 비가 올 것 같아요.
It will probably rain tomorrow. Person 2.
그러면 그렇다면 공원에 안 갈 거예요.
If so, I'm not going to the park. Person 1.
나는 오늘 집에 안 갈 거야.
I'm not going home today. Person 2.
그러면 그렇다면 나도 안 갈 거야.
If so, I'm not going either. If not.
아니면,
In lesson 8, and applied in lesson 9, you learned about
아니다,
and how it can be used to mean to not be, by combining
아니다,
with.
면,
We get,
아니면,
which literally means if not. We can often see
아니면,
used at the beginning of a sentence referring to the previous sentence. For example,
저는 밥을 먹고 싶어요. 아니면 죽을 것 같아요.
I want to eat rice. If not, I will probably die.
저는 공부해야 돼요. 아니면 시험을 잘 못 볼 거예요.
I need to study. If not, I won't be able to do well on the exam. It is also possible to see.
아니면,
Used within a clause, often between two nouns, when used like this.
아니면,
Indicates if not this, noun, then that, noun. This is most commonly translated to or in English. For example,
저는 밥 아니면 사과를 먹고 싶어요.
I want to eat rice. If not, I want to eat apples, which could be translated as I want to eat rice or apples.
아니면,
Can be used to have this meaning of or, but another way to create this meaning is to use
이나,
or,
거나,
which is discussed in Lesson 58, Irregulars. It's worth looking at a table that shows how the addition of
으면,
affects Korean irregulars. Note that these same rules would apply to other additions where you need to either add, that is, when you have to decide whether to add,
으,
or something that starts with. Other examples of grammatical principles that start with are
으면서,
and,
으며,
which you will learn about in Lesson 62. These irregular rules below will apply to those grammatical principles as well. Irregular verb.
으면 짓다,
To build,
지으면 걷다,
to walk,
걸으면 듣다,
to listen,
들으면 잠그다,
to look,
잠그면 고르다,
to choose,
고르면 만들다,
to make,
만들면 열다,
to open,
열면 팔다,
to sell,
팔면 눕다,
to lie down.
누우면,
Notice that
면,
is added directly to stems ending in
리을,
and
으,
is not added between them. Don't be confused with,
걸으면,
as this example incorporates the
디귿.
irregular as well. That's it for this lesson. For more info, please visit howtostudiokorean.com.